All right, Buccaneers, fancy a match preview outside your beloved Orlando Amstel Arena. Orlando Pirates won't be coming out here until only next week, Tuesday. I know for some of you, it's going to be hard to come and watch this game here at the arena on a Tuesday evening. So I thought, hey, anything I could add in your life in terms of reminding you of the beautiful arena of your beloved Orlando Pirates Football Club. Maybe let me come out here and do a preview of this game here. It is Fumane, and this channel is all about making sense of football, just honest conversations reflecting on the game that we all love. And today I'm going to talk about the first of 3 fixtures against the same opposition. Orlando Pirates are going to be playing a league game against Sekhukhune United, but before that, the first leg of a semi-final. It won't be playing out here, like I've already said. It's going to be playing in the home stadium of Sekhukhune. I think it's in Limpopo. For some reason, I've just forgotten what the name of that stadium is. I'm tempted to say Pitamkaba, but hey, I'm not gonna say that. So you guys can say where it's gonna take place in the comment section. And then first leg semi-final away for Orlando Pirates, and then a league game on Tuesday out here at the Orlando Amstel Arena. And then another semi-final, the second leg of that fixture, taking place here at Orlando Pirates. And so you're going to hear me say a lot about Sekhukhune versus Orlando Pirates. So I'm going to try as best as I can in this video to say as much as necessary, but stay here as short as possible. And maybe where I want to start is this. You guys are here to hear me speak about Orlando Pirates, but I think something that I'm going to keep on saying is that it is pointless to speak about Orlando Pirates without speaking relative to the opposition. Orlando Pirates exist as Orlando Pirates because the opposition exists. And so if we're going to talk about Orlando Pirates, and if we're going to do much justice in terms of previewing a game, we have to spend some time talking about who they're playing against, because the club that Orlando Pirates is playing against is in the same competition and in the same division. So something about that, just that, for that fact alone, they deserve some respect in terms of, hey, what should Orlando Pirates expect in terms of the opposition? This club, Pirates, does sign players from that club, Sekhukhune, and it loans players out there to go and develop out there. So something about that, before anything, just deserves some time from us who review or preview these games to spend some time speaking about these clubs before we talk about what we're all here for. Patrick Masongai. I'm kidding. So Sekhukhune, I watched their game against Kaizer Chiefs, and the reason why I did that is it because Kaizer Chiefs is a big club, and so I should watch Sekhukhune play against a big club so I can get some kind of an idea as to what I should expect versus Orlando Pirates. No, that's not why I watched that game. I don't think Kaizer Chiefs is a big club. But I think that Sekhukhune thinks that Kaizer Chiefs is a big club. And so I think they will have deployed tactics that we might see something similar against Orlando Pirates. And so I watched that game in terms of analyzing it to kind of see what they're up to this season. I also watched their game against AmaZulu in preparation for Orlando Pirates versus AmaZulu. And so I've got a bit of an idea of what Sekhukhune does. And here's my idea of what they do as their idea. I think they play a 4-4-2. So I always say, for those of you who have heard me say this before or haven't heard me say this before, I always say that formations really tell you about how a team wants to defend. They don't necessarily tell you how they will look like on offense. They tell you how their organization will look like when they start defending. And I think on paper, it's arguably a 4-4-2 or a 5-3-2, I think, or maybe 5-3-1-1, something like that. Or rather a 5-2-3. Yeah, that's what they look like to me, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So in terms of the 4-4-2, the way that they played against Kaizer Chiefs is on the left they had Vuyo Letlapa as a left back who was injured in that game, and I'm going to come to talk about that very briefly. And then at right back, they've got Loney from Orlando Pirates, who can't fixture against Pirates because, Pirates has got a clause, I suppose, on his loan terms that he cannot play against his parent club. This is information that I heard Cedric Kaze say, the head coach of Sekhukhune, so we shouldn't expect Masilwane, but he was playing against Kaizer Chiefs, playing at right back. And then at centre back, they play with Cardoso and Matsimbi. Very hard rock kind of centre back, very experienced in terms of Daniel Cardoso at the centre of defence. Well, against Amazulu, they did play with Nico Mobi there. I didn't follow as to why, but I know that Daniel Cardoso was absent in that game. So I do imagine that Mobi was playing that centre-back role rather as makeshift than as maybe it is what we're going to see a lot this season. Maybe we will if they do suffer a lot of injuries. Maybe we should expect to see a lot of Nico Mobi there. But I think in this kind of fixture, we should expect someone like Daniel Cardoso to be playing there at centre-back. And then they do play with two in central midfield, which is Sekhukhune United and I think it's Coupe who plays there. Give Mo Coupe plays alongside Sekhukhune United, and they are sitting in midfield to kind of protect that central area. So they are kind of doing the dirty work of covering spaces, making sure when players are out of possession, they're filling that role, especially off the ball. And I think on the ball, keeping it simple as well, just keeping the ball in rotation, being an option, that kind of thing. Nothing special from them, just two anchoring central midfielders in midfield for Sekhukhune. And then they've got sort of two wide men, and in the game against Kaizer Chiefs, and you guys will forgive me if the optics of this video don't look so amazing. It is quite sunny today, and maybe that might mess with how the video looks like, but again, please forgive me if that is an issue. On the left, they play with Rammala, I think was the one who was playing against the Kaizer Chiefs as a left wing, Ellis Rammala, but I do have an idea of where I think he'll be playing against the Orlando Pirates. And then on the right, they play with Tshepo Mokoena, who is a very intricate, sort of smart player who's good, like playing in intricate kind of situations, combining with his teammates. And then up front, they're playing with Ndlovu and Tato Kiba. Tato Kiba is kind of playing as the number 10 alongside Ndlovu, and Ndlovu being the out-and-out striker, the target man rather, and then Tato Kiba being the one who's kind of like, you know, just playing around Ndlovu and being the one who's kind of wanting to combine, especially with Tshepo Mokoena, who's playing on the right against Kaizer Chiefs in the first half. They're more the intricate passes and that sort of thing, trying to, if things do come down from the air, they're the ones who are going to try and combine and create a chance. And yeah, Sekhukhune does actually kind of want to go direct to the wide areas. Tshepo Mashilwane, because of his height, which is something very topical for me as an Orlando Pirates supporter, because something I think is lacking at right back for Orlando Pirates, especially, is height. So I've got that theory, and I'm not going to break it down in this video so that I don't go on for too long. This is also not to say that I want Tshepo Mashilwane to be the right back of Orlando Pirates, but I think his height is something that I do miss at right back for Orlando Pirates. But anyway, Sekhukhune do go kind of long to him. From the centre backs, just switching the point of attack, and he will compete in the air, and then that ball will come down. And I think Tshepo Mokoena is good in like then combining with his teammates. I'm sorry, guys, someone is pulling a dustbin behind me, so if there's a really loud noise coming through off of the microphone, you will have seen behind me someone is passing, pulling something. But anyway, so that's kind of what they look like in terms of their formation, and they do situationally press high. I think for them, I say situationally because I think it depends on the opposition. I think Kaizer Chiefs at times wasn't looking like they're on settled position when they're trying to build up. And so I saw Sekhukhune kind of like press high with two men, and then the white men coming narrow infield to support the guys and to kind of close out the center for Kaizer Chiefs not to build through and progress the ball through the center. And then this, like, the defensive line will also almost push up high towards, not necessarily but to the center line, but very close to the center line as well, to close those spaces in between. So a very risky kind of approach from Cedric Kaze, the head coach of Sekhukhune, against Kaizer Chiefs. But I get why he would risk against Kaizer Chiefs. I'm not going to tell you why, but I've got a theory. And the theory is that I think Kaizer Chiefs is not so great a football club. And so they thought, you know what, we could actually press these. We can win the ball against these. Don't be too conservative against these guys. So I thought, like, that's their approach. And I wonder if they will want to do that against Orlando Pirates. But just thinking about the fixture, especially this first leg of, a semi-final in the MTN8, I think, Sekhukhune, where they are, will be thinking that, hey, we're going to play a return fixture at Orlando Stadium. And we're almost guaranteed not to get anything out there on a Saturday afternoon at Orlando Stadium. Guys, let's be realistic about this. The probability is we're going to get nothing from Orlando Pirates in that fixture, in the return fixture at Orlando Stadium. And so I think it informs kind of how they look at this fixture in their home stadium. I think as much as they want to be cautious against a Pirates team that is really threatening in terms of, creating chances again and again and again and winning the ball against you and creating chance after chance. And if you're going to leave that space for people like Muremi to run in, for people like, newly signed, well, not newly signed, but newly signed, I think Khositsile, who's the one that's newly signed? Khositsile Ongwato. I keep confusing who's newly signed, who was signed last season and loaned out. I keep making that confusion in my head. But again, the beauty is that I've got you guys to correct me in the comment section and call me names if you want and that sort of thing. I'm kidding. But yeah, with the pace of people like that and with people who are able to, play balls into those spaces like Maswanganyi and someone like Danson likes to actually, well, let me put it this way. He is ambitious in that regard in terms of wanting to play a ball into a danger area for the opposition. He wants to do that. So with players like that who want to do that kind of thing, and then Sibilibili, kind of Pirates will come at you like flying darts if you're going to leave spaces behind you. And so I do think that, yes, they'll be cautious, Sekhukhune, but I think we'll see a degree of like seeing that they see this match as their only chance of progressing to the next leg. I think Sekhukhune will look at this game and go, I'm not sure we're going to win the game at Orlando Stadium. So we might want to take a result there and then go and put up a fight at Orlando Stadium. And for that reason, I really do think that, it plays into Orlando Pirates' hands a little bit. What I do expect to see, let me just say before now I get into kind of what I expect to see on the Orlando Pirates side of things. What I do expect to see in terms of Sekhukhune, I think they'll be missing Letlapa at left back. They'll be missing who was injured against Kaizer Chiefs. And then they will be missing Tshepo Mashilwane at right back. People like Vusumuzi Ngube are not around. And then so I think what they'll be going for is what I kind of said at the top of the show, that I think actually Sekhukhune play with a 5 at the back, or rather maybe they play with a back 3 of centre backs and they play with kind of like wing backs, because Rammala, even though he plays as the left-sided midfielder against Kaizer Chiefs, he played as the left-sided midfielder. I do expect that, being left-footed, playing on the left. In fact, in that game against Kaizer Chiefs, when they do substitute Letlapa after he gets injured, Rammala moves to left back, and then instead of switching left back for left back, Rammala moves there, and then they introduce Ramabu, who was signed from Polokwane City, to come and play on the right, and then they move Tshepo Mokoena towards the left. And I think they're maintaining still a 4-4-2 against Kaizer Chiefs, but I think against Orlando Pirates we might see Nico Mobi be introduced and come and play as sort of like a right centre-back. And then I think we'll see, again, Matsimbi play as centre-back, and then Cardoso as the left centre-back, and then Rammala as the left wing-back instead of left-back. I think it's very risky for them to play someone like him as a left-back. I think what they want to do is just get numbers. And then he's going to come and figuratively sit on top of a left back, a left centre back rather. And so they'll have, and then I think they'll play with a right wing back. Maybe they might ask that, Ramabu plays as a right wing back instead of a right winger, like a traditional right winger. And I think that's what I do expect. And then they'll play with the 2 in the centre still, which is Sekhukhune Kaze and give Mokupe in the center of the park. And then I think, again, they'll go with Tato Kiba and Tshepo Mokoena, just kind of being, those 2 number 10s, either side of Ndlovu, the big man up front. So that's what I do expect to see. I think what they want to do is just kind of get the numbers at the back and want to catch Orlando Pirates on offense with the wide man on the side, who are traditionally wingers and forwards in, Rammala again and Ramabu on the right. But I think when in sort of like off the ball situations, out of possession, they will ask them to come back and kind of help Nico Mobi, who I think will be playing right centre back. I do expect him there. And then Daniel Cardoso and again Matsimbi as the centre backs, the 3 centre backs. So that's kind of what I think they will kind of organize themselves like. And then they'll obviously again press with the 3 up front and then the 2 following. And I think the wing backs will push on high a little bit when Pirates is trying to play out from the back. And I think when Pirates are in settled possession, progressing the play, they will drop back into like a 5-2-3 up front. That's what I do expect from their side. And so that makes me think about what I do expect to see against Orlando Pirates. Now, I know I said that Orlando Pirates should think very much about the opposition before they bring their lineup. But I think more than that, Orlando Pirates should think about themselves because Orlando Pirates is a superior club. So in as much as Orlando Pirates should spend time just analyzing the opposition and maybe looking at key tactical battles, because these clubs, Sekhukhune and all the sort of 15 other clubs in the league, they've got special players who are waiting to be signed by Pirates, Sundowns, those kind of clubs. And so there is always threat. And for that reason, Pirates should think about how to play against them. But I think the most Pirates should think about is how they impose themselves on the opposition. And I think Pirates goes without saying what they want to play like. They want to play, obviously with that 4-2-3-1. They want to win the ball back high against anyone, as they should, given they've got very good players, Orlando Pirates. They want to play high up the pitch. They want to, turn recoveries in terms of winning the ball back into quick opportunities that they create and convert it to chances created and score and that kind of thing. And I think Orlando Pirates should continue with that plan. But more than that, I think Orlando Pirates, when I think about kind of the strongest Orlando Pirates lineup at the moment, given the current situation, so disregarding the players that are out injured, I think the squad that we saw or the team that we saw play versus Chippa United, second half, versus Amazulu is what I think is the strongest team for Orlando Pirates in terms of, optimizing for people's strengths. There are these players for Orlando Pirates who are like differentials. And in order to get the most out of them, you need to set up the team in such a way that, we highlight the strongest parts of these guys and minimize the weaknesses around them and that sort of thing. And I think what we saw against Chippa United in terms of lineup, that's very close to what I think is the best lineup that we can put out for Orlando Pirates. Now, obviously, some shouts for people like Mtiane who came on in the second half. And obviously Mtiane, even when he was playing for Stellenbosch, some people have followed him while he was playing for Milford. I can hold my hands up to say I didn't follow him at Milford. I know Mtiane at Stellenbosch, but he's always just someone who wants to avail himself for the ball. He's someone who wants to get involved in play. He reminds me a little bit of Nkanyiso Zungu, if you guys remember Nkanyiso Zungu, a very talented left-footed player who likes to break the window in terms of passing and progress the play. Sometimes maybe too adventurous in terms of his passing and maybe too dramatic and too animated in terms of like wanting to play the no-looker and that sort of thing. Maybe sometimes unnecessarily not recycling position. Where he should recycle possession, he'll try and go for that Hollywood pass without looking, wanting to play the pass forward. And that has always been kind of my criticism for him, but I digress. I think Mtiane, in the way that he plays, there's something about him. I'm not saying they're the exact same player, don't get me wrong. Maybe it's even aesthetically. He looks a little bit like Nkanyiso Zungu Mtiane, but I also think that he's got that thing of like wanting to like receive the ball, avail himself, and then kind of look forward. Where can I find someone in space in between the lines so that the play progresses and Pirates is on offense. And for that reason, I've always liked Mtiane. When Pirates announced that they're going for this player, I was like, I see what they're looking at here in terms of the midfielders that are at Orlando Pirates. When you think about, hey, who do we play when Talente Mbata is not playing? I think Mtiane would be a very easy fit in terms of that. Like if maybe say Talente Mbata is not around, like right now, for me, I always think of Mtiane as like, that's almost like for like replacement. Someone who can receive the ball in deep areas, dictate the tempo of the game, and then he's going to play those passes forward. He doesn't progress the play like Talente, who will sometimes carry the ball forward. But Talente varies his play very nicely because, you also know that from Talente, you also get those passes forward. And then on top of that, you also get like that long range, and you also get someone who can turn and receive in deep areas and kind of evade pressure. And I think Talent Mbata is a very complete midfielder in this Orlando Pirates team. But I think Mtiane kind of brings those qualities that is not someone who's as agile as maybe Molai and as press resistant as like Molai and stuff. Maybe even Cameron Danson in terms of press resistance. I don't think we've seen the best of Danson yet, but I do see the potential of a very press resistant, smart, intelligent player in Cameron Danson right now. Like I see the potential in him. But yeah, when I think, people like that, I don't think Mtiane is exactly that kind of player, but I think he's got that press resistance. He's got that always available for a pass, always dictating the tempo of the game, always looking to progress the play for the team. And so for that reason, I think maybe in midfield is where arguably I'd say, I don't know, maybe Pirates is better with Mukobodi or Mtiane currently as we speak. Or maybe Makehleni Makaula is best suited coming back and maybe playing alongside someone like Mukobodi. You never know, like with Makaula, because he just seems to defy age. He keeps on, maturing like fine wine. Someone like me, I can be entirely honest, had written him off like 3 seasons ago, like, oh, he's old. And yet he's played another 2 seasons for Orlando Pirates with almost like peak fitness, when he's asked to come in for those 15 games where we keep seeing him. Like he won't start the season, and then there'll be like a 15 game somewhere in the season where Makehleni will come in and it'll just be like, what you get from him consistently. You get that from Makehleni Makaula. And so, yeah, I think midfield is where I still kind of am like, actually, I don't know. I think I have ideas, but I don't know, honestly. Central midfield is that for me at Orlando Pirates. But in terms of like the 3 behind the striker, for me, it's quite simple. I think if you're playing Ozonapolis on the left, not on the right, on the left, you can play him on the right if you are playing, I think, a left back, in my humble opinion, who will also kind of, make sort of inside runs instead of overlapping, but also underlapping, and is good maybe coming into those half spaces as well, who I think Neo Rapo is going to be that player. I really do tip him to be like that player for Orlando Pirates, who's going to be, the player who can come in and out. And so if you're going to play someone like maybe Relebogile Mofokeng as a left winger, and I know Mofokeng doesn't play for Orlando Pirates right now, that's not what I'm saying. Don't be silly. I'm just saying a player like Mofokeng who will come inside, or Ozonapolis, so you can play Rapo who can go out and deliver nice crosses and give you like overloads on the outside channels. But then you also know that Rapo has got the potential. He's very good on the ball, can come inside. He's very intelligent. He's got a vision and an intelligence, and he can come inside. And so if you're playing someone like Moremi outside on the left, and so you can play with Rapo as well. So that's the instance in which I see you play. If say Moremi is going to play out wide and he's going to be that wide forward for Orlando Pirates, playing out wide and Rapo coming inside, because like if you've watched me for any length, I don't want Moremi to play in the inside channels. Unless if he's just at the end of things and not necessarily coming deep and combining with other players. I think there's a certain element of Moremi delaying the play of Orlando Pirates. Not necessarily because he's slow on the ball, but I think he makes he doesn't make the best decision in terms of, oh gosh, like he just created an attacking situation. In fact, I think more than anything, I've seen him actually misplace passes, delay, and dribble until like he's closed down and that sort of thing. And I think he looks better when he's running onto things. So if maybe players developing on the right, and so we're playing Moremi in and he's coming at the end of things on the left, that's where you see the best of Moremi, when he's kind of that auxiliary forward, which is what is happening on the right currently with Lungu. He's the auxiliary forward. And I think that should make Moremi sit on the bench, because that's what Moremi should be. And unless if Moremi plays on the right. But again, Moremi playing on the right kind of makes him naturally come in field because he's left-footed. But I think something in the coaching has to be like, hey, Moremi, stay there. Okay, stay there. Stay in between the left back and the center back, and get in those channels at the end of things. Don't drop in, because you're going to come in the space of Maswanganyi. This is where Maswanganyi operates. You stay there. We're going to play the ball. I think of the passes that Maswanganyi plays for Kampani Lungu. in sort of these last two games, like the big chances that Maswanganyi creates for Lungu. I think someone like Muremi, that's where you want him. You want him receiving that and finishing that off, not coming and combining with Sibilibili and Maswanganyi and that sort of thing. So that's where I want him. And for that reason, I have Muremi on the bench in my team currently because Lungu is on some kind of form. Goal scoring. I know Muremi is on form as well, but I do think that Lungu seems like he's riding out a wave of like, yo, I've got to Orlando Pirates, I'm playing, and I'm getting these big chances, and now I've scored a big chance to kind of break that kind of deadlock that Orlando Pirates has been experiencing in these games in terms of like, yo, we need someone to finish a big chance, you know? And maybe I'm being harsh on Muremi, and I get that, but like I think maybe it's my expectations in terms of his on-the-ball quality that he looks a bit like he's struggling on the ball, except when he's finishing a chance. Then I'm like, oh, there's Muremi. First game, I remember against Milford, he scored, same thing. At the end of a thing, he like sort of evades the goalkeeper, finishes it, and I'm like, that's the Muremi that I think serves Orlando Pirates. He's finishing, you know, those through passes. But as soon as he gets involved, then it's a problem. At right back, I think it goes without saying, obviously, Kamkhelo Sibilibili is going to play there, which is an area of concern for me, right back. I've spoken about that on this channel, just thinking that, you know, especially now that Lungu, because some people kind of rebutted what I said and said, hey, Lungu is the third right back, when I said, I'm worried that we only have two senior right backs in Dino van Rooyen and Sibilibili, because I think with Sibilibili, he's not natural and he's short. In games where you're playing in Africa, that sort of thing, I think, whoa, Sibilibili is an area of concern for me at the back post with those floated crosses at the back post. I think he's going to get out muscle, thinking that he's going forward as well, thinking that he also is like his feet, like he's got, you know, I don't know. I feel like Sibilibili, I don't know what, something's happening with his feet. You always feel like he's going to trip someone or he's going to like trip against the ball or something like that. And so I'm always worried with him at right back. And then there's the injury concern of Dino van Rooyen. Dino van Rooyen, amazing defender. But then you're thinking injury record is not favoring him at the moment. And so that's an area of concern for me, that right back. But I think obviously in this game, we will see Sibilibili. And seeing that we're going to play, you know, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday again, right now, because the season is fresh, I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern. But as we keep playing in that rhythm, what's going to happen with people like Sibilibili playing there? And so if Van Rooyen is injured, are we going to play Lungu there? But is Lungu a goal scorer for Orlando Pirates? Because obviously Mbutuma's not playing. Radio Pane is out of favor. We don't know what to expect from Sebastian Pedersen. Mahopa, I don't know when he's going to be back. And so in this time, it seems like Lungu is that auxiliary striker. You know, someone who, oh, okay, we don't have striker Lungu, you're going to play there. Are we then also going to play him at right back? I like those players. I'm a huge fan of a James Milner kind of player. So maybe Lungu is that for Orlando Pirates, can play as right winger, can play as a striker and a right back. I'm cool with that. But I think in this game, obviously, we should expect Kampani Lungu at right back. And I think at left back, seeing Rapo for me keeps giving me the growing confidence that, you know, Rapo at some point is going to take that place. Because honestly, I think he's got a high ceiling. I've said this on this channel. And I think it's about him getting those starts. And then eventually, I think, not that he all of a sudden, Ndaba and Hoto will not be useful. I think they will be, but I think Orlando Pirates will realize that they've got an intelligent left back. So they haven't got someone who does a job, who's got energy or that kind of thing, but they've got someone who can make Pirates win games as a left back. And I think it's only a matter of time until Pirates see that. I think they've already seen that. I think they're just easing him in. Just, you know, reflecting on the words of the head coach when he said that last season, maybe the biggest mistake was to play too many new players too quickly. And yeah, so that's kind of what I think Orlando Pirates will look like. I think we're still going to see Yanele Mbutuma. The coach took the first opportunity to praise him in Durban. And I think, hey, well done, coach. Praise your players, build their confidence, that kind of thing. So I think he will play with Yanele Mbutuma, his favorite striker, because of his work ethic. I don't think that it's unfair that he favors Mbutuma. I think Mbutuma does work hard for the team. And if we're going to give him any credit, let's give him that. Let's not completely erase everything he does for the team. Like it does not matter for Mbutuma. And I think there's a statistic that's going around that says Mbutuma has created one of the players that have created the most chances for Orlando Pirates. So I mean, if he's doing that, then cool. I'll have him. I mean, Liverpool for many years, you guys by now will tell that I'm also a Liverpool supporter. After I am an Orlando, after I'm a, maybe the order is this: I am Bafana and Orlando Pirates. Because if you're an Orlando Pirates fan, it's not second. It's always first. So Bafana and Orlando Pirates first, and then I'm a Liverpool supporter. So we had Bobby Firmino for many years, where Salah and Mane were the ones who were scoring the goals for the team, and Firmino was happily the one who will press and provide the assists. And if he's that player for Pirates, without obviously the flair of Firmino, I'll take it. I'll take it for that reason. And so, yeah, I think we'll see Mbutuma in this game. But anyway, that's kind of how I think it will go. I think Orlando Pirates will get the win, the also crucial win to bring back here, and the momentum to then come back here on Tuesday and play a league game. And obviously after that, Sekhukhune will have known a little bit more about Orlando Pirates, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. And let me not preview the Tuesday game, which is in the league. Let me leave it here. Tell me what you guys think. Anyway, cheers, guys.